Welcome to Blightfall. What, you don't know what Blightfall is? Then how about I explain? Blightfall is a survival / horror / adventure / story / basically anything and everything about Minecraft modpack. It's hard to explain without showing you. Here, this is the map. It's quite purple right now, and your job is to make it not as purple. But before I explain all the gameplay, let me explain the story. You start on this spaceship, and the commander explains you that you're a colonist. Lucky you. You choose a pod and go to the planet. As soon as you land, you might realize something peculiar. This planet is not as habitable as previously thought. The story is pretty complex, so there's not much to explain, or there's not much I want to explain. But here's the big spoiler part, so skip to this part if you want to avoid the spoiler. Before you arrive on the planet, an archmage called Zillith created this plague called the taint. He created it to kill this thing called the Dark Order, but it spread out of control, and now he's been stuck in this parallel dimension called the next millennium. It replaces the end of this world. It spread out of control, and now he's the only survivor of the race that was on this planet before. There's not much else to talk about the story. You do find tiny journal pieces that explain Zillith's problem, but nothing else really. Now the gameplay. It's pretty simple. Choose a pod, follow the book, next. Well, actually, this is the hardest part of the whole game, so this might take more than just a few seconds to explain. Choosing your pod. The gameplay is more survival than even normal Minecraft. Let's look at the basics at least of this. First, you have to choose the pod when you spawn in. There's 5 different spawns. They go to easy to hard. Alpha is not that hard to start. It's no real problem. You have abundant resources and it's all green grass. It's no big deal. Beta is a little bit harder, but it's still pretty simple. Gamma starts being a bit harder. You are in the snow, so nothing grows as well. Delta, well, it's just clay, so good luck. Epsilon. Well, hey, have you ever wanted to set up in the desert in Minecraft before? And Omega, well, you probably signed a death wish, because you're underwater. You can choose any pod you want, which is more recommended to choose Alpha when you begin, and Omega if you want things to be completely impossible. The hard part. To be honest, all biodomes are not that easy. They all lack one thing. Resources! The game forces you to go through copper and bronze before mining iron. Iron is not really that rare, but copper and tin are explained to be the rarest. They're pretty hard to find. So good luck on finding any without strip mining. After you finding iron, it's not a big deal. You can almost mine everything. Almost is the key word here. Also, the game is a little fun part that everybody that has ever played loves. The food game. Food is an important part in any colonization, so you also have to figure that out. This mod pad includes Pam's Harvest Crash, which makes foods give you less after a while. Let me explain. The more you eat of one food, the less it gives you hunger. So you have to look for multiple food sources. You can't just eat carrots and bread like you would normally in Minecraft. Luckily and unluckily for you, cooking for blocklight exists. It makes it possible to make the kitchen multi-block, which is an easy way to make food. Sadly, it requires a resource that you don't have a lot of. Iron! The taint. Hey, I forgot to mention the game. The purple stuff you find on the ground is called taint. The taint is a threat to the world, kind of like pollution. The main difference is that you can clean it up pretty easily. You just have to get out of your pod and explore the world for the cure. Well, good luck, cause the taint hates you. First, if the taint touches you, you get a fun effect called taint poison, which hurts you for at least 3 seconds. It doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're constantly walking in taint, it becomes a problem. Secondly, the taint turns any passive mobs, chicken, cow, sheep, and pig, into killing machines. They will go after you and they are looking for blood. Lastly, the taint creates new hostile mobs like swarms and tentacles that also hate you. The swarm has an untouchable hitbox, and the tentacle like spawning little tentacles to protect itself. You can clear the taint, but you have to go out of your biome to do so. So basically, to kill the thing that kills you, you have to let it kill you. The way you clean the taint is this magical plant called the Ethereal Bloom. There is a little minimum amount on the planet, but getting as much as possible is the main quest. You can also make more yourself, but that's for something a little bit later. The quest book. The quest book is one of the most important things in the mod pack. It's basically a mini tutorial. The book rewards you by giving you merit points, since if you go below 150 merit point, you lose the game. Of course, dying makes you lose merit points. The book does have different categories, so I will explain those again. The instructor. The instructor is the basic category for the whole book. It teaches you the tutorial for major parts of the book, mostly mining and how to make tools. The supplier. The supplier is a rather strange portion of the book. As the name implies, it gives you supply. Out of all of the categories, is the only category that constantly makes you lose merit points. These can vary from -2 merit points to -24. It depends what you want. It is never recommended to ask too much from the supplier. In this part of the book, it's mostly closed off until you do a particular quest. Example, you can't ask for copper or tin before you acquire copper or tin. The geologist. The part of the book is all about mining and rocks. While you explore the world, you will mostly mine while waiting for your blooms to do work. The world has different rocks all over this planet. In one place there's chalk, and in another there's just stone. This part of the book asks you to give rock and mineral samples for him to examine. Some quests do give you the location of ore cache around the world in the next part of the book. The scout is the most important part of the book. It helps you find the ethereal blooms. The scout makes you go to the most important parts of the map, all the places that have been touched by taint. Beating the scout tab is probably your first priority, but it is not so simple. When doing all scout quests, you should gain 1 or 2 ethereal blooms per quests. Since that is how you win, it is important that you do these quests first and foremost. The Paranormalist. The Paranormalist is a very fun, yet frustrating part of the book. The Paranormalist guides you very stupidly towards the magic branch. It almost explains nothing while you have to search for the things almost on your own. The Thaumanomicon and Lexica Botanica can lead you through that as well as it tries. This is also the part of the book that helps you make the ethereal blooms. And that part is not that hard, actually. The colonist. The colonist is the part of the book you'll almost never touch. It is the way you win in this mod pack. The colonist explains that you have to clean the world, and that's about it. He also sometimes makes you get food, but that's it. You do get merit points for each time you clean part of the map. 20% is 15 merit points. 50% is 20, and 30 points for when you clean it completely. This means you can get merit points pretty consistently from there. So that makes you be able to add stuff from the supplier without having really penalty. It also makes your base look better with time as you upgrade your base to get to this part. The Xenobiologist. The Xenobiologist is certainly a part of the book. The Xenobiologist makes you explain the planet you landed on. You collect a lot of different things, language samples. When you discover the main city, you can find these things pretty easily. You can also kill different species. It's not a very interesting part of the book. It's very boring. The engineer. The engineer is the least fun part of the book, but maybe the most interesting and useful. Remember those materials that you can't find very well? Well, you should have kept them for here. The engineer tabs on the machine that helps you make things easier and harder in your camp. Basically, you can make a lot of fun stuff that you need. Energy cells, crushers, grinders. You can get a rancher. This makes things automatic in your camp, but the effort to get them and the energy you need to use them is so big that it's gonna take a while until the engineer tab comes in useful. It is still very useful to make it, since most of the rare materials you get are going to be used only in here. Nothing really else needs them. The black market. The people on Earth seem to be very interested in the special material on this planet. This tab categories lets you get special items that you might not have access to, if you can. You should do this part of the book. The different materials that I've found that you can sell to the black market are promethium. There's also oroclase and karmut. There's probably some others, but I haven't seemed to have found these out one right now. The dark one. Blood. Blood. Give blood. Need blood. Here's some important last points before I finish the gameplay part. In this world, any metal you come across you want to collect. They are all important in some way. At least getting one of each is always good, as the geologist always wants one of each. Always bring a massive supply with you if you want to adventure the world. Food depletes quite fast in this world, and since not all food gives you the same amount, you always want all of them. You want to build a smeltery as soon as possible. The smeltery doubles the ore that you can get. Example, iron, gold, copper, tin, silver, all that kind of stuff. But you have to watch out when putting ores into the smeltery. Some can mix when putting them in the smeltery, which means you might get a subcomponent. Example, copper and tin can mix into bronze, but sometimes you only need copper or you only need tin, and you can't separate them after. Another example is iron and angmalin. Iron and gold, I mean. Iron and gold mix together to make angmalin. Always makes weapon using the tool forge. These tools are always very good and you can add some special modifiers like redstone for haste, lapis for fortune, and emerald for strength. You can also add nether quartz for sharpness and even a piston for knockback. Since you can't enchant these tools, this is the best way to do it. And since you can't make a normal sword, this is also the only thing you can use. And the more you use your tools, the more comfortable you'll get with them, which means the more you can add to them. Like I said, nether quartz, piston, stuff like that for a weapon, maybe haste for your pickaxe, and lapis for also your pickaxe. Multiplayer. For Blightfall, multiplayer is a very important part of this game. You can try this single player, but it will take a long and very tedious process. I suggest trying Blightfall with a ton of different people. This will make the process more fun and enjoyable, as well as fast. Clearing the land on taint is not as easy as it sounds. I tried once alone, and I didn't get very far. A second time with one person, and we cleared half the swamp. Third time with the same person, and I did all the swamp. And then I did it with somebody else, and 20% of the swamp coast. Now we're trying it with 10 people, and we're doing extremely well. Now you can join the Discord and the server if you want. It'll be in the description. If you want to try it out, since we are having trouble getting people to join, so join if you want. Conclusion. In conclusion, this is Blightfall. If you're not a fan of a very long and story-driven experience with a clear end goal, this is probably not a mod pack for you. I like this modpack locked, and it's one of my favorite ones. This video did, of course, show you everything about Blightfall, but it did also show you some very important points. Because I really want people to experience this on their own. If you want to get... I think you should give Blightfall a try, and if you don't like it, then that's your choice. I don't want to force anybody to like it, and I don't want to force anybody to try it. If you don't want to try it, you don't have to, and if you don't want to play it, then that all as well. So the big conclusion, well, this video wasn't really the original plan. I want to make a thing. I wanted to make something else, like a tutorial to Blightfall, but I think this is better. This is kind of like an explanation. This is my first ever big format video. If you like it, I might do other things right now. I'm just testing things out. Anyways, thanks for watching, and if you want to join the server, then it's in the description. Thank you for listening to my video.